My name is Ellen Ward. I'm 71 years old, and people my age are supposed to be drinking tea, knitting blankets, and living quietly with memories. But the truth is, I never imagined that the biggest betrayal of my life would come so late, or hit me so deeply. It started on an ordinary Friday morning. I had just finished baking cookies for my grandkids when my landline rang. Hardly anyone calls that old phone anymore. I almost didn't answer. But when I did, everything changed. "Ma'am," a man said nervously. "This is Daniel from the Hilford Grand Hotel. Are you available to talk?" I thought maybe they were doing some charity promotions or something harmless. "Yes, I'm here. What's the matter?" His voice tightened. "Ma'am, I apologize for disturbing you, but your husband checked into our hotel yesterday under your name. He arrived with a young woman, and..." My heart stopped. "And what?" I whispered, gripping the table edge. "And your son. Your son told me to keep it quiet." For a moment, silence swallowed the room. I looked toward the living room where my husband, Charles, was sitting with our grandkids just last night, reading bedtime stories like nothing was wrong. What are you talking about?" I stuttered. "He's home with me. He never left." The manager hesitated, as if afraid of my reaction. "Ma'am, please. You need to come here. It gets worse." My vision blurred. I held on to the wall, steadying myself. My husband, my partner of 48 years, was the last person I ever suspected. And my son? Why would he be involved? Why would he hide something from me? "Are you sure?" I asked, my voice thin. "Ma'am," he said softly, "I saw him myself. He signed your name. And the woman he brought, she called him baby." A cold wave of shame and confusion washed over me. I felt 70 years older in that moment. I grabbed my coat, my handbag, and my car keys with trembling hands. I didn't tell my husband I was leaving. I didn't say a word to anyone. All I knew was that after a lifetime of trust and devotion, suddenly, nothing made sense anymore. And deep inside me, something dark, something sharp was waking up. Because whatever was waiting for me at that hotel was going to change everything. I reached the hotel. But what I found in room 217 wasn't just betrayal. It was something far more horrifying. I drove to Hilford Grand Hotel with hands shaking on the steering wheel. I had driven that road hundreds of times over the year's birthdays, anniversaries, family dinners, yet that morning it felt unfamiliar. Like every tree and street light was watching me, whispering warnings. The hotel lobby was warm, golden, and soft, but inside me everything felt cold and tight. The manager, Daniel, spotted me immediately. His face was pale. "Mrs. Ward," he said gently, "thank you for coming." "Tell me everything," I demanded. He nodded, swallowed hard, and lowered his voice. "Your husband checked in yesterday afternoon. He booked room 217. He used your name, your ID number, your home address. And your son was with him." "My son?" I repeated, stunned. "Yes, ma'am. He brought the luggage. He told us you had approved everything, and to keep this stay private." A sickness twisted in my stomach. I didn't know whether I wanted answers or whether I wanted to run away from the truth entirely. "Where is my husband now?" I asked. Daniel hesitated. "He left early this morning, but the woman he was with is still here." My breath caught. "Take me to the room," I said. He nodded nervously and led me to the elevator. Every floor ding echoed in my chest like a heartbeat. When we reached the second floor, he paused in front of room 217. "Ma'am, please prepare yourself." I ignored him, pushed past, and knocked. For a moment, silence. Then the door opened a crack. A young woman, maybe 22, stood there in a silk robe. Mascara smudged, hair messy from the night before. She looked at me with confusion, then annoyance. "Yes, who are you?" "I'm the woman whose name you used to get this room," I said slowly. "And the wife of the man you spent the night with." Her eyes widened. She stepped back. I didn't know, she stuttered. He told me he was separated. He said, "Don't," I said firmly. "I'm not here for excuses. I'm here for the truth." She hesitated, then opened the door fully. What I saw inside made my knees weak. On the floor were scattered receipts, credit card slips, papers with my forged signature, and worst of all, a small black notebook with my son's handwriting. "Your son arranged everything," the girl whispered. I thought you knew." My world cracked open. My husband cheating was one thing, but my own son helping him, that kind of betrayal, burns differently. I opened the black notebook, and what I discovered about my husband and son nearly stopped my heart. I picked up the little black notebook with trembling fingers. My son, Michael, always had neat handwriting, sharp, straight, disciplined just like the way I raised him. Seeing those familiar letters inside a room where betrayal reeked like cheap perfume, it felt like someone had stabbed me twice. Page after page, lists of hotel dates, booking times, false names, money transfers. He had been helping his father for months, maybe years. The girl stood quietly in the corner, clutching her robe. "I didn't know he was married," she whispered again. "He said you were sick, that you didn't remember things anymore." A tear slid down my cheek, not from heartbreak, but from something uglier. "Did he say why my son was helping?" I asked. She hesitated. "He said, your son owed him something about inheritance, and your husband controlling it." My breath hitched. I turned another page. A list of my assets, my bank account numbers, property values, insurance details. My own family was mapping out my life, like vultures planning a feast. And then, the last page. My world collapsed. Plan. After mom passes, everything goes to dad gives, then to Michael. Need to secure early transfer if her condition worsens. Condition. What condition? I was healthy. Normal. I cooked, walked, gardened, read bedtime stories. I wasn't dying, but they were planning for me to disappear. A cold shiver crawled up my spine. "Where is my husband now?" I whispered. The girl swallowed. "He left early. He said he had to check something at home." "Your son went with him." "Check something at home?"
Oh.
No. They thought I was out of the house. They thought I was unaware. They thought today was the perfect day to move their plan forward. A surge of fear and fury shot through me. I grabbed my bag and rushed out of the hotel. I could barely breathe on the drive home. My mind ran wild. Had they planned an accident? Were they staging something? Was today the day they finally decided to get rid of me? My small, quiet home stood at the end of the street like a waiting trap. I saw my husband's car. I saw my son's truck. My heart pounded. Inside them lived the two people I loved the most and feared the most. I opened my own front door only to discover the shocking trap they had prepared for me. My house was eerily silent when I stepped inside. No TV, no footsteps, no voices. Just a strange ticking sound coming from the kitchen. I walked slowly, gripping the black notebook like a weapon. The kitchen was spotless too, spotless. My husband's coffee mug was washed and dried. My son's jacket was gone from the chair. Everything was placed perfectly. Unnaturally. Then I smelled it. Gas. My heart slammed against my ribs. The oven knob was turned slightly, just enough to leak gas, not enough to ignite. They weren't planning to kill me with violence. They were planning to make it look like an accident. An explosion. A tragic elderly moment. A mistake. Something no one would question. But they didn't know. I was already here. And I was watching. Suddenly, I heard whispers from the hallway. "Is she home yet?" My son whispered. "Not yet," my husband answered. "Daniel said she was on her way. We just need her to open the kitchen light switch. That'll spark it." My blood froze. My own husband. My own child. Planning my death like it was a household chore. I stepped back, forcing my emotions into a tight, icy knot. I turned off the gas silently, opened every window, and then, quietly, stepped into the living room. "Looking for me," I said. They spun around, both turning pale. "Mom," my son whispered, "this isn't—" "Save it," I said, my voice sharper than a knife. "I know everything." Their faces drained of color. I tossed the black notebook onto the table. My son's handwriting stared back at them like a confession carved in stone. "You were going to kill me," I said, "for money. For convenience." They began to panic. My husband stepped forward. "Ellen, listen. Don't move," I warned. And then, I played my final card. I pointed to the small camera sitting on the shelf. The one they forgot about. "I recorded everything," I said. "The gas, your whispers, your plan. And the hotel manager is already calling the police." Both of them froze. "And one more thing," I added calmly. "I changed my will this morning. You get nothing." Panic turned to rage in their eyes, but it was too late. Sirens wailed outside. Police stormed in. My husband and son were handcuffed right there in the home. They tried to turn into my grave. As they were taken away, my heart didn't break. It healed, because sometimes, revenge isn't fire or fury. Sometimes, revenge is simply surviving the people who wanted to bury you. If this story touched your heart, tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story so more people remember. No matter how old you are, it's never too late to stand up for yourself.